Hello, everybody. It is 11:30 on a Monday. It's silly to say this, but it's a little chilly out for Los Angeles. Speaks a man who just got back from 2 weeks in London. So I think 2 weeks in London, I would not be complaining about it being chilly. But London wasn't that chilly, was it? For those of you that are in the UK, it rained a little bit, go figure, but it's been torrential here, so I don't really know, who wins on the rain front. It's been pouring with rain here. So anyway, we're big, we're bad, and we're back. Another live video. So we did miss out last week. This one's a new track. This one is, of course, courtesy of our good friends at DistroKid. And before we get started, we want to give a little shout out for DistroKid for sponsoring this video. It's sponsored. They did pay for Eric's time. Eric's getting paid. Well, you're working for free today. No? And if you want to ask us any questions, there is that super chat thing, and then we can buy some lunch. That's not a bad idea. Let's get a good sandwich. But anyway, it was a lot of fun to be in London. As those of you who've been following our Instagram, are you following us on Instagram? Will know that we were at Abbey Road. We were at Abbey Road for a week. How freaking awesome is that? Pretty amazing. So we're at Abbey Road. We have fun. Eric stayed in Los Angeles. He actually did some house sitting and some kid sitting. Can you believe that? That's how close a family friend he is of ours. After all these years, that he actually looked after my kids. Not that they need much looking after. No, Lucy was probably teaching you. She's 8. She was probably teaching you everything, yes? Yeah, pretty much. She was playing all the video games. But anyway, we want to give a shout out to the wonderful people at DistroKid, because what we love about them as producers, engineers, songwriters, musicians, etc., is that if you release your music through them, first of all, they're inexpensive, they're worldwide, they're as good, if not better than anybody else for distribution, so that should be enough. But no, there's more. Sorry, it sounds like one of those, but no, there's more. No, the reason why we like it and we love them and reason why we recommend them is because they also give us the ability to assign the earnings. And that is huge. Sign up for them. We got a 30% off code. Yes, 30%. Most people do the 8%. I've seen 7% as standard for the YouTubers. And for me, it's still YouTube, but the YouTubers. And so they're pretty massive. 30% off. It's a wonderful opportunity to sign up. And what is great is the next time you work with an independent artist and you have an agreement to get 10, 20, 30, 40% or whatever the recording or whatever, you can assign it so you get paid at source. Yes, at source from DistroKid. You don't have to wait for the artist to collect the money and then eventually maybe or maybe not pay you. Anyway, so check it out. There's the link down below, 30% off. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do Hey Lady. And some of you in the Academy may know this. This is Steve Majora. And Steve Majora, of course, is very well known for being in Toto, ex-player of Robert John and the Wreck. He's an incredible keyboard player, a truly wonderful guy, and one of my best friends. I love him dearly. So let's have a listen to the track. Here is the mix that we did on the SSL a few years ago now. This is for his solo album that we did together. Have a listen to this. Yeah, I'm talking a bit loud, so I'm driving everything a little bit too hard. Anyway, I won't talk so loudly. Here we go.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home? Sweet lady, where you gonna go? Been thinking about you lately, so why not come over? No reason to this rhyme.
I don't know if I'd call this blues rock. Who called it blues rock? What would you call this? We'll change this to the right title. I definitely wouldn't call this blues rock. It's kind of funky, isn't it?
Tonight.
I mean, you could maybe call it pop rock. What do you think? Pop rock? Let's have a vote here. Studio calls it dad rock. Of course they do.
Tonight, oh, no one's gonna believe that you fell from the sky. You're an angel from heaven that's going through hell. So fight on over here, girl. I'll leave the light on for you, girl. 'Cause there's no reason to this rhyme. I just want your hips against mine. So why not just...
They call it yacht rock these days. Sure. Dad rock, yacht rock, contemporary rock, progressive yacht rock plus. Let's just call it pop rock and see people. It's kind of like if you liked... that's the track playing back quiet. I can bring it up.
Tell me what's the use in crying over him.
There you go.
Tell me what's the use in crying over him. You're so much better than all the shit he put you in, girl.
It's a good mix on the SSL, but we can do better, can't we?
Tonight, oh,
Grundig yacht boy radios of the 90s. It's definitely not a 90s sounding track. It's definitely... Everything Steve is always a little 70s. He's a little 70s.
say what's up tonight.
I know Mark Broussard as well. I wrote a bunch of songs with him and produced 4 songs on, like, his 4 albums ago. In fact, one of his biggest songs, Another Day, I wrote with him. I also wrote Perfect to Me, which is actually a song I wrote about my wife that he covered, which is also, I think both those songs were quite big hits in the Netherlands. I remember getting good royalty checks from the Netherlands. One I wrote that he covered and one I co-wrote with him. And I wrote a song called Leave the Light On as well with him. So yes, I know Mark very well.
Say what's up tonight. Whoa,
Andre says, stream volume is better now. Thank you, Andre. Okay, so you get the general idea. It's live instruments. I did put some drum samples in there for anyone who wants to use them. We can start by not using them. The drums were tracked here on the little Ludwig kit in this little drum room here. So let's start with listening to those drums. Let's give it a listen. It's been a long time since I've listened to this song, so this is going to be quite fun. So here's the kick. So as you remember, for those of you remember, I don't have a hole in the head on my 64 Ludwig. That's actually my wife's 64 Ludwig. So that's the live kick. Let's go and find the live snare, which is here, and snare top and snare bottom. Very lightly played. No rim on it, no ring. Let's take the bottom snare off. And bring it up. He's playing the rim a little bit. Cool. So the overheads, here's the overheads. Put in the hat. Now, I'm panning from audience perspective, but of course, if you're a drummer, and I know all drummers are sticklers for that, they always want it to be panned from their perspective. But if you're a drummer mixer and you want to mix it that way, of course, I know a couple of people that do that way. They pan it from the drummer's perspective. Most of the time it's done from audience, but like piano players, we always pan piano so it's low to high because that's how we see it, which is interesting because, of course, when you watch a piano player, you could be seeing them from the side, from behind, from the front. There's no real... there's no real right way to do it, but everybody that I know has ever mixed a piano will have the low end on the left and the high end on the right. My wife did play drums for a bit, yes. So did my son. Oh, Tom says not all drummers mix like that. He mixes from audience perspective. Good for you. I don't know many people that do that. Drummers are usually the ones that are sticklers. But yeah, that's great. So it's kind of a cool natural drum sound. If we throw in the toms and pan the floor, I usually do it about 60% over to the left-hand side, audience perspective, and then about 20% over to the right for audience perspective on the rack. So let's have a listen to that. So the kick's quite ringy. I do have some samples that we can choose to use. The Bootstraps one is from the band Bootstraps. Let's have a listen to that. And this is just a sample that I made myself. And I tend to like it because it's sort of it's one I recorded myself with my own drum kit in a different room. And you see I've got some compression and EQ on it, and it's an exaggerated version of the same kick drum. Wow, waiting for the book to arrive today. By the way, everybody, you know, those of you that ordered signed copies, we've ordered them and they haven't been delivered to us yet, so I can't sign them. Unfortunately, I had to do what you all did. I couldn't order a pre-release. You can only release the book and then order it. So on the day that we released it, we had to wait to see how many people bought, and then we ordered a few hundred, and then they have to be delivered, then I have to sign them, and then I have to ship them off again. It's a palaver, as they say. And we are going to have our good friend Jerry, is going to, who co-wrote the book with me, fly in and also sign them as well. Woohoo! I think those complement each other perfectly. Let's have a listen to the other ones, but I think that's the combination. The Ludwig that I recorded on a different session in a big room, blended with the Ludwig recorded here in the small room. That's the evil metal one. That's got a lot of bite to it. Let's see this one here. This one is another metal kick. Might be too much attack. Now, you could argue with something like that. What we could do is go and get an EQ on that one that's super, super aggressive. And this is what Bob Marlette does all the time. This is a good little lesson. Come along and maybe come up to, like, I don't know, 1K. And then just bring it down. Kind of nice. So that was a really generic thing. So if you are thinking about using some of these samples, which you don't have to, but if you are thinking about it, and they're all in there just for you to choose, you could maybe, like I just did there, use a little piece of it. So if you listen to that kick on its own, that's it. Cool. Then Dr. Indy says if they were doing it, the whole show would go up a notch or two. Then you should do it. Go stream live. Send me an invite. I'd love to watch it. So here we go. So once again, that is my Ludwig recorded in a different room with a lot of dampening on. This is a more aggressive metal kick that I'm taking out the low end. Here's before. Very clicky. Now, take out all the low end. Yeah, the big room is giving a little bit more of an ambience to it. Not so much. Here's the live one. That's all just air. Ooh, ooh. So put the two together, three things together. So let's go back to our live snares again. Let's see if any of those. So the D28 and you can all download. You can use these, but you can also download the sample pack if you haven't already from the site. I know lots of people charge the one shot, $50. We can always give our samples away for free. Don't need that. It's a D28. That's an octave pitched. Here's the other one. All right, let's have a listen to this. Is the hard rock one. We're just auditioning different samples, which you don't have to use any of them. They're just here for us to listen to and see whether we like them. Okay, here's the Gretsch. I'm just going to bring these down and see if they have any use blended in. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Russell. Russell says, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Let other people know that we're here live streaming. And we'll do some giveaways. Thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring this. If you haven't already signed up for DistroKid, there is a 30% off coupon underneath. Yes, I know normally people do 7. They're giving us 30 because they love us and we love them. So I'm doing a little blend here to see if I like it. You can definitely tune the reverb. Thank you, Victor. Yeah. Now, all those samples, if you go to producelikeapro.com, there's a whole free goodies section. You can download all of these samples. Obviously, if you download these multi-tracks, you'll get the samples as well. Please hit the like button. So we're going to add this last one and see if we like it. So, I don't know. It's a blend. I like it. You don't have to use it. I do kind of like it. There's a little offhandy thing here, little grace note one. We can bring those down a little bit. I don't know. I like it. You don't have to use it. I'm going to. The hat. So here is now our blend of our drum sounds. Let's create this and call it all drums. Again, you don't have to do it. This is the beauty of having small drum rooms, though. Is like you can, these days you can manipulate anything to make it whatever you want. All right, I'm going to throw in the DI. I'm going to group that together for the bass. So we've done a drums all. Now we're going to do a bass. We're building a quick rough mix. Here's some of my guitar. I've got a 57 and a 57 duplicate. That was probably just for effects. There's also a DI if you want to reamp it or put effects on it. Now, I've got my U47, believe it or not, on my upright, my crappy upright. So let's put that over to the right a little bit so it bounces out the guitar. throw in the lead vocal.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home, sweet lady.
Thank you. Yeah, when I'm playing that funky rhythm guitar there, I always print delays on. I've got a DI clean if I want to reamp, but I always print the delay on because I like that slightly out of time one. I also want to play with the delay, and I find that adding them afterwards always sounds super artificial. If you want an absolutely perfect human being didn't play it thing, then of course you can add the delay on afterwards. And that's there's a DI there for those of you that want to reamp.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went.
Now I've got tons and tons of things. I've got the H3000, which is the vocal thickening trick. I'm going to bring that down and just put it in there lightly.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know.
So I'm giving you all the prints of stuff I did. And then I've got my lexicon reverbs that I printed.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home, sweet lady. Where you gonna go? I'm thinking about you lately, so why not come over? No reason to this rhyme, I just want your lips against mine, so why not just come over and say what's up tonight?
We can bring the piano up a little bit. It's a little low middly. We can bring the guitar down ever so slightly, and I think we'll get a little balance.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home, sweet lady.
What guitar did I play? Oh, you know what I played. Rev. I think. Oh, wait there. This might not be the Rev Star. This might be pre-Rev Star. This might be the Yamaha Pacifica. It's probably a Pacifica. I've been a Yamaha fan for years. I think it's probably the Pacifica.
Over, no reason to this rhyme.
I'm putting in the double.
Over, no reason to this rhyme. I just want your lips against mine, so why not just come over and say what's up tonight?
My favorite Yamaha, my favorite guitar is the Rev Star. So I've got an Echoplex. So this is a tape delay.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trying.
Totally distorted.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home, sweet lady. Where you gonna go? I'm thinking about you lately, so why not come over? No reason to this rhyme.
So we have a B3 here. Which was recorded in stereo. So I think I was using a pair of 57s on the top. Now, there is a stereo track created if you want it here, bounced together, but we'll leave that out there. Then there's the B3, of course, the low end. He never really went low. Yeah, his voicing's quite... Let's have a listen here. Yeah, he never ever went low. So with the center, you could choose what to do with it. It's adding a little bit of low mids to it. That tape really tied the room together, like a lovely old rug. Nicely said. Okay, so if you want, there's a stereo file of it all bounced together, or you could use the three individual elements. I'm going to put those three into, you got left, right, and center. So Hammond, there we go. Now there's a sax. I printed a reverb. Huh, I don't think that is a reverb. Nope, ignore that entirely. Ignore. Let's go to the other sax. Nope, no reverb. I think what it is it's probably a stereo track that reverb was applied to. I would ignore that unless you really want it. You could use it to apply. Then there is a third one here. Yep, all those, I don't need any of those. So I'm getting rid of those. Now, with the piano, we did use a ribbon and a 47. So here's the ribbon, which is the AES. And here's the 47. Back to the ribbon. What do you guys and girls think? Do you prefer the ribbon or the 47? The ribbon would have been an AEA, and the 47 is a 47. .47 here. Yeah, it's my crappy upright. I mean, the 47 definitely is brighter and a little bit more dynamic. I feel like I need to compress it more because the higher end's kind of jumping out and it doesn't have that low mid thickness, which is probably good because I'm just going to end up EQing it out. Let's just grab generic compressor. And as you know, for me, generic compressor is just an R comp. Speed up the release. Keep the attack slow so the transients go through. I love my crappy upright, yeah. So it seems like everybody's agreeing. Max is saying ribbon has got a nice texture and feeling. Devon says he likes them both. Jimmy says ribbon sounds good. Put some compression on the ribbon and give it a fighting chance. Probably gonna. I think I prefer the ribbon. It's just more even, isn't it? It's more even, and I feel like I could apply some EQ to it. I think you're all right for initially I agree. You initially liking the 47 because it's brighter, but listen to that ribbon. It's just more even. Keith says both of them in the track. Absolutely. Here's the ribbon in the track.
What you feeling? See, I'm not here to judge you, just here to help your heart to heal it.
Bit more pre-roll. Let's give it first verse.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been.
Oh god, no. Upright is definitely not in stereo. Keep it in mono.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home.
Yeah, I think Max might be right.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling.
It's a tough one.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling.
Back to the ribbon.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know.
So let's do this. Let's get rid of some of the unwanted low end on the ribbon. Stuff we don't need. Again, I'm just going to grab an REQ. So I'm just going to high pass it, pull out a bit of low mids, brighten it. Nice wide bright.
Tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home. Sweet lady, where you gonna go? I'm thinking about you lately, so why not come over?
Len Len says, which is a valid point, they're both good, flip a coin. I mean, if you only got one, you'd be happy. But there's something about the ribbon which is a little bit more even, which I like. You know, which is quite funny when you compare it to a 1953 Neumann U47. But it is an AEA. What's the model number? Can't remember. It's that huge AEA. And that's not a cheap mic either. And the piano's very bright and quite aggressive, not a tack piano. So maybe in this instance, just the ribbon gives it more, you know, it just makes it sound a bit more honest. Now, don't get me wrong, we leave that ribbon on all the time. That's actually the main way we record the piano. So it's not unheard of. I just thought the 47 might beat it.
Tonight,
I will definitely get to the bass in a minute. I agree.
tonight. Say what's up tonight. Whoa, whoa.
These saxes are a little aggressive for their own good. Some of the initial, but it feels like there was a little bit too much attack on them, and we didn't. These saxes were sent to us, weren't they? So the sax player did them on their own. So you can see what's happened. They set their compressor too aggressively, and even that square waving. But forgetting even the square waving, quite. So the initial attack is like really aggressive, and then it's squashed. So we're going to have to do something a little bit on that. I wouldn't actually be opposed to grabbing a limiter just for the transient. So it's all sitting about -6. So if I get the link control on L1 and pull it down here, the volume won't change. But what's happening... maybe even more. I like that. Do it on this one as well. It's just getting rid of that initial excessive transient. Sounds like a sample. It's definitely not a sample. It doesn't sound like. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad, but no, it's definitely not a sample. I'm actually going to bring this down and leave the output ceiling because it's quiet. Download the Multitracks. You'll definitely hear it. Doesn't sound anything like a sample. I mean, you can hear like everything moving and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you were complimenting him. I'm sorry. It just doesn't sound like a sample to me. Yeah, you can hear like distortion in the preamp. You can hear him moving. Yeah, if you get the sample to have those tuning things as well, that'd be nice. All right, Spitfire Audio have done some remarkable stuff, though. We were with them last week, and it's amazing what they're doing in their string libraries. It's insane. Okay, so... okay. All right, I think we've got a good, usable start off, give the song a listen, balance. So this is a balanced mix. This is like get it up, blending in a little bit of samples that you may or may not want to use, choosing which mic on the piano, maybe you want to try both, putting a little bit of vocal effects. The only EQ we've done is on that piano. We've got a limiters running, just catching the transients on the front of those saxophones. Let's give it a listen.
Tell me, don't you know your man?
You could do a transient shaper. I'm not that bothered by it. I just wanted to even out that first hit, and you could use a transient shaper. I don't think I need that much detail. I just wanted to bring it up there and even it out a little bit. I am growing my hair a little longer, yes, because it's fun.
don't you know? Your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home. Sweet lady, where you gonna go? Thinking about you lately, so why not come over? We're breathing to
Yes, the great Steve Majora is here in the house. Woohoo! Yay! Yay! Hey, Steve.
over. We're breathing to this rhyme. I just want your lips against mine, so why not just come over and say what's up tonight? Hey, baby.
Great. So that's a balanced mix with zero, tiny amount of EQ on one instrument, bit of limiting, just shaving off the transients on the saxophones, and then everything else just balancing. We've got a little bit of kick and snare samples in them. We're using the bootstrap kick, which is my live recorded Ludwig. And then actually a metal kick sample, believe it or not, just for the snap. And we took off all the low end and all the low mids. The snare, we took actually all the snares and balanced them really, really lightly behind it in the background. Tom's as is. Here's the drum sound. Now we could do some more pronounced EQ on that, but let's not do it yet because I think, as many people are pointing out, the bass is what's needing some love. I don't remember who played bass on that. Did I play bass on it, Steve? Or was that Phil Allen? It might have been Phil Allen. And I think that might have been his gold flat wound bass that he had. I don't even remember what it was called. It's a bit distorted. So let's use the DI and see if we can get some good low end out of it, and then use the amp for the personality. Sometimes I reverse that. Usually I don't, but let's have a listen. So we're going to go about 200 and low pass it, meaning everything above 200 is pretty much going to be gone. I'm doubling up the high passing. Look, sorry, the low passing. Oh, I like the doubling up on the clavinet, but you're right. It doesn't. You could do it on the clavinet. So, have all fun. You could load in the bass sound into like a MIDI grab and then have it play a clavinet. Phil played drums on this as well? Oh, wow. Yeah. Phil's a superstar. He played drums on this as well. Okay. So now with the bass, Steve Majora has a good memory. This is about 4 million years ago, Steve, we did this. Where are you at the moment in the world? You're out with Toto, yes? Where are you? Where are you? Are you in Gay Paris? Are you with your love in Paris? In Paris? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bass mic above about 200. I'm going to high pass it and allow just the high information. Oh, you're in Ottawa. Where are you guys playing? You're playing the Enorma Dome in Ottawa tonight? That's a Spinal Tap reference for anybody. Where are you playing? I don't know, like the Enorma Dome. Yeah, it's definitely flat wounds and not round wounds, flat wounds, and quite aggressively played. I think that distortion is not in a mic pre, not in anything. I think what it is, I think it's actually the strings hitting the pickups. It was a very cheap bass, but it was kind of fun. The Canadian Tire Centre. Well, I hope you get a good deal. New tires for the car. Did you drive up and say, hey, I'd like a good deal on my tyres? I remember the first time I heard of the Staples Center, I literally didn't know they were talking about an arena that was owned by Staples or paid for by Staples. I assumed they meant like there was this massive Staples center built downtown. I was like, wow, why would anybody need a Staples center that big? They're going to go down there and buy a lot of paper and staples and stuff? Seriously, that's how stupid I was. Okay, so I like the low end out of that, but I am missing a little bit of personality. So let's do a couple of schnizzle. I don't think we have to boost any low lows on this. Let's go in there and bust this to 1. This is our first bit of summing. We're going to do more. This one's going to be a fun one because next week we're going to come back to it and do even more to it. But so this is going to be bass sub. And we've seen what we've done. Here's my bass DI. Would help if I did the input. Here's my bass DI. So I've done a little bit of high passing there. Now I'm going to hear just the mic on its own. I'm tempted to go on that and just, you know, for me, finger noise, etc., is about 3K. So that's adding a little bit of grit to it. Now, a solo, you're probably thinking, oh, that sounds nasty. Yeah, but what about in the track? That's what matters. So thank you, DistroKid, as Eric has reminded me. This is sponsored by DistroKid. They are rather wonderful, and the reason why we enjoy DistroKid is because as producers, engineers, and mixers, when we co-own tracks with artists, like we're doing these days, increasingly stupidly cheap deals, and we end up working for pennies, artists are offering us increased revenue on the back end. And maybe 1 or 2 songs out there isn't going to do a lot, but if you're working with a lot of independent artists, you know, doing a few hundred or maybe even 1,000 songs a year, but a few hundred songs a year, and I've got a revenue split on it, you can make some good additional income. The only problem is that typically you're at the mercy of an artist who has to then do the calculations and send you your percentage, whether it be 20% or 30% or 40 or 50 or whatever you worked out. The beauty of having your artist use DistroKid is you assign the percentages in there. So every time a penny is made off a streaming service, it is split along those percentage wise. That's the reason why we have been recommending DistroKid, and as producers, engineers, and mixers, sign up when you work with your artists, get them to distribute through DistroKid, and then you can get assigned payments. And it can be a difference between making a few extra $1,000 a year or not. So I would say I would go for the make the more money option. It's really smart. I'm very, very pleased when I found out they did that. And Eric will put that link now. And Steve says, DistroKid rocks. So let's listen to it in context. Now, at the moment, it's definitely a thud. And that's cool, but we could add some personality. Now, typically with a bass sound like that, I'll probably get in again on the 3K, so we'll put in some area around there. But I'm also like the 750, 850 area, so let's just make that 750. So the mids, just make it cut. On its own. Cool. So it's pretty compressed on the way in, but to get it a bit more even, you know what I'm going to do. There's still more we can do to it, but I always do this incrementally because I want to do a bit of stuff on the kick drum. So why the heck would I make this too much until I just bring on the kick a little bit more? But here we go. So the MV2 takes the low level information and brings it up. So less notes getting lost. Now the high level, bring that in. So this is the louder stuff.
You went away from home, sweet lady. Where you gonna go? Thinking about you lately.
What plugins do you need, Tim? I mean, honestly, typically for bass mixing, I use the R bass where I'm not getting enough low end out of it, which I might incorporate in a minute once I've done the kick drum, and the MV2. You can use any free, comes free with your DAW, your DAW. You can use any DAW stock EQ plugins as far as I'm concerned. You do not. It's just the MV2 and the R bass. They're always listed below. Yeah.
Hey lady.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of it, come out of the all drums group and just take the kick drums that we have and bust them. Now, they are actually in a stereo track because the samples have a little bit of ambience on them, I believe. So I'm going to create a stereo auxiliary and we're going to call it kick sub. You can call it kick auxiliary, you can call it kick bus, whatever you want to call it. It gets a little confusing when you call things subgroups because people think it means sub, but it's not, but whatever. So here's my kick group now. Let's have a listen. Make that come out 3 and 4. Now, let's have a listen to these individual elements. That's pretty tasty. There's a bit of a build up at about 100, 110. You can probably hear that. But I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Here's the live, this is the live one, sorry. Which is definitely kind of a little pillowy. I like the oof on it. But let's go and grab an EQ just on that one first. I have no problem with EQing individual elements. There's a lot of people talking about, don't do that when you're buzzing them together. Whatever. So... I'm going to actually grab a 6-band EQ here. As you can see, I'm moving quickly, but this is very, very straightforward stuff. When you've been doing this for like 20 years, you'll just be like, blah, 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 blah. You know, there's nothing magical here. We're just coming along with saying, you know, what we need to boost, what we don't need to boost. I'm going to go in at about 60 here, boost this. Before, after, let's throw in our other elements. Now, on the bootstraps, I'm not going to do something quite as dramatic, but I'm going to get, I'm going to grab a 4-band on this. And I'm going to boost, I'm going to cut a little 110. So I'm actually now going to go and grab that same thing. It's probably hard to hear at the moment, but I hear a little build up in the 100-ish hertz area, which I think is going to smother the bass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 100 here. When you've got multiple kick drum mics and sources, you can tend to get a little bit of a build up there. So you see what I'm doing here? Does that come through? I'm boosting to 60, but I'm making sure I'm not getting too much 100 in there, which is fine if you want to do a complete 70s thing, but I don't want to kill the bass. And then the other part I think is already good enough. So let's put all the drums back in and have a listen. Here we go. I'm going to throw in the bass. Now, the toms are a little cardboardy. To be honest, they're quite 70s sounding. But I'm going to go in there and on that floor and rack and just pull out a little bit of 350. Just a little bit of the thickness that's kind of a bit ugly. Did you hear it? It was a little ugly. So let's go in, pull out a bit of 350, widen it up a little bit, do a bit of high passing, out of the way of the kick drum and the bass guitar, but maybe little boost about the 2 to 3 area just for a bit of snap. And then maybe a little 80-ish here, just a bit for some body. I'm actually going to copy that down to the rack. I'm already better. So you see the curve I did there on it, 350 cut, 2 to 3K kind of area for some snap. Yeah, it's great.
Tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home? Sweet lady, where you gonna go? Been thinking about you lately, so why not come over? The reason to this ride, I just want your lips against mine, so why not just come over and say what's up tonight?
Where are you, John, that they're adding 14 charges? If anybody ever makes the mistake, make sure you sign into the Amazon that you're in the zone. I know a few people have signed in from the US, but they're not in the US and then buying it. So when you go to Amazon, just go to your local Amazon and then type in the book there, and then you won't be hit with, shipping it from the US. I know it's kind of logical, but I've seen a couple people do that. They're like, somebody bought it in the Netherlands and said they would charge $30 to ship it from America. And then they went, oh, if I'd gone to Europe, it would have been, a third of that or something, So, yeah, make sure you actually on Amazon when you're looking at the book and you are in your country. All right, we're getting there.
Hey lady, tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever.
Oh God, really? I love Greece, as you know. My family has a house in Lindos, in Rhodos, and absolutely love. But yeah, Greece is horrible for import taxes. We had a winner there who won the grand prize of a mixing competition about 4 years ago, and we paid 65% taxes, Greek import taxes, 65% Greek import taxes. It was ridiculous. There was no way around it. And then one of the companies, we shipped the stuff out, and the poor guy said it costs more to buy it, to do it, than if I flew somewhere and bought it because of the import tax, like leave the country. So what we did is somebody was going on a holiday, on vacation to Greece, and flew with one of the prizes in their luggage and then handed it to them. And it was cheaper than shipping it because of the Greek import taxes. That's insane. And I know Australia, unfortunately, has the same problem with import taxes. They just hammer you. Oh, sorry about that.
Man's been trifling ever since you went away from home. Sweet lady, where you gonna go? Thinking about you lately, so why not come over? We're breathing too.
Pretty darn tasty. All right, let's do a giveaway before we go. You can bring the guitar down. I'm still mixing, but yeah, please check out the book. Don't forget to download the Multitracks if you haven't already. Hit the like button, and we have to leave shortly. We have our good friend Cameron Webb, who's coming into the studio for the next few weeks to record an album with a very famous band. Here, woohoo! Can't tell you who it is. That wouldn't be fair. But yeah, he's bringing a band in. And so we have to go soon because he's using the studio. Eric and I, of course, will be working in the house, so you'll be seeing us more in the house. I bought a guitar from the UK and sent it back, and Greece wouldn't refund me $400. $400 in taxes. Wow, John, I'm so sorry. Which island are you on? I love Greece, though. Sometimes the taxes that you have to pay, it feels worth it just to live in Greece. Such a beautiful... Which island are you on? So what do we want to know, Eric? This is our last. This is for a free membership to Produce Like a Pro. If you're already a member, you will get a free year. If you're a lifetime member, you can choose any Pro Mix Academy course you want. Please download the Multitracks. Say thank you to our good friends at DistroKid. And what do I want to know? Easy one. Who's your favorite artist or band? Who is your favorite artist or band? We're going to listen down to the rough mix that we've created, and next week we will finalize it. We'll give it a listen down. In the meantime, let us know. Yes, please, as Tom says, hit the like button, leave us a comment, and don't forget to tell us who's your favorite artist or band.
Tell me, don't you know your man's been trifling ever since you went away from home? Sweet lady, where you gonna go? Thinking about you lately, so why not come over? We're breathing to this rhyme. I just want your lips against mine, so why not just come over and say what's up tonight? Hey baby, tell me what's the use in crying over him? You're so much better than all this shit he put you in.
Thank you, Michael Parmisano. The great Michael Parmisano. Yeah, we haven't really done much to the mix. We've only done little tiny elements. But it is a very talented band. And I don't mean that just because I play guitar on it. But no, Steve Majora, the wonderful Steve Majora, who wrote the song. We produced it here. The only thing I don't think we recorded here was a sax player. I can't remember. That was flown in. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, the bass playing is actually by my old engineer, Phil Allen, who, wonderfully talented guy. He recorded Someone Like You by Adele, won a Grammy for it, and used to run harmony for me, and then came up here and was my co-producer right near the end. Wonderfully talented. We wrote a lot of great songs together.
You're hard to hear.
And we did have Sam Mamory. Hey, Sam, how are you? We did have Ban Jovi together. Yeah, we did Bon Jovi covers with banjos.
You're hard to hear. When you realize that life ain't so surprising at all, come here, sweet girl, and say what's up tonight. Oh, alright, you feel better tonight. Alright. Do you wanna get with me? You're so sick, go and call me the doctor tonight. Oh, no one's gonna reach you fell from the sky
Hello in Athens, you know I love Greece.
tonight. Oh, no one's gonna reach you fell from the sky.
We do quite a lot of folk stuff, pop production. I think just Anna Christian, just kind of go through the stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Sam Memory, how are you? How's everything going for you? The Rattles and Spinal Tap, honorary mentions. Yes, it will be available after the stream. You can go back and watch it. Don't forget to download the Multitracks, everybody. Thank you ever so much, DistroKid, for this. Who won? Andrew CCM for Rush won the giveaway. Please email Eric and he will get you free stuff. Thank you, Monty. I really, really appreciate it. Chris, we have checked the Multitrack link quite a few times and it does work. So try just changing your browser if it's got some schnizzling going on. I mean, I can do it here, press the thing, send me the Multitracks, typing in my name. I'm going to test it now. Testing it live on air. And send me Multitracks. Multitracks will be sent to your email shortly. Please allow delivery time of 5 to 10 minutes. Let's see if it came in before then, because you never know. Oh yeah, and please, here they are. It came in. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's just sometimes it could be the amount of time it takes. David Harris says you may have an ad blocker. John says got the first time for everybody. They got it. John Russell got the tracks, no problem. Yeah, it could be a combination of your internet, ad blockers, different things. But yeah, definitely working for us. All right, marvelous. God bless you all. Let's reconvene next Monday, and we're going to work on this track more. I love this song. If you haven't already, please download. Thanks ever so much for DistroKid. We love DistroKid. They've supported us by paying for this video to be created, which makes Eric very happy. Yeah. If you're not already a DistroKid member, there's a reason for it. If you're a producer, engineer, songwriter, musician, and you have a deal with the artist where they give you a percentage of the royalties, make sure they go through DistroKid, because then you can assign it at source. You're not waiting for them to collect the money and eventually pay you, which if you're like me and you've been doing this for the last blah, 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 blah amount of years, knows that never happens. The only artist that's consistently paid me independently is Katie Laurel. Katie Laurel, you are a rock goddess. She sends me accounting and says I owe you $17 and sends it to me. That's how on top of it she is. But most artists, that's just not their forte. They're not sitting there. They're not chartered accountants. They are actually proper artists. And being an artist means that they're not sitting there calculating money. They are sitting there making music, being creative. And not many of us have brains that are good at business and are also creative as well. It's usually one or the other. So it's not their fault. So get them to use DistroKid. Get them to use DistroKid. Use DistroKid yourself. Sign up, get an account, and every time you work with an independent artist, put it through that, and the money will be distributed along the percentage lines of it. And to be honest, it's an extra few grand a year for me that I didn't know I was going to have. I love using it. All right. Thanks, everyone. So long. Farewell. La vie des au revoir. Please hit the like button. Please download the Multitracks. And you all rock.